Welcome today to our 10K appraisal podcast. Today we are, as always, excited to have our special guest. Please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy our podcast. Today we have Miss Kesha Cobb, the CEO of Farm Fortitude. She's always has also has Black women in ag and Black men in agriculture. She's from North Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm so excited for to do this podcast with her and discover and talk about the amazing work that she's doing in the farm community. She has an upcoming conference in Dallas this September. She will be here in Atlanta on June the 14th for our Outside the Barn series with Providence Missionary Baptist Church and Jeffrey Hicks. She'll be talking about Farm Fortitude, her organization, as well as how to get a USDA farm number. She's amazing. We met at the South Conference earlier this year, and we have been working together on various initiatives with the USDA and the farming community. So, without further ado, as well as having Kesha Cobb, we have a very, very special guest, which is Baby Cake. So, please get ready for Kesha and Baby Cake.
Hello, thank you so much for that introduction. Baby Cake is camera ready.
So, how old is Baby
Hey.
Cake, Kesha? Tell us about Baby Cake.
Baby Cake is the only girl that I've ever had. So I've had two puppies and I have one son. And but yeah, she said that's correct. She is she's an olive egger actually. So she lays beautiful light green eggs that are pretty big. We get one egg a day from Baby Cake, and she is the only perfect cameo girl. Yeah, she is the only one left of her little brood. She was one of the first chickens I ever got 2 years ago, so she's 2 years old. And here in the city, I'm an urban farmer. We had a coyote attack, believe it or not. I wasn't thinking coyotes would ever be. She didn't even like that word. See that? I know, babe. And so a coyote was carrying her sisters off one by one, and I thought that she was gone. And that last day, I looked inside the coop and she was hiding in the corner. And we got so close because I had to bring her in the house to keep her safe over the winter. And we're just like inseparable now. So to keep her from being
I
lonely,
understand
I got
also
her
that
some
Baby Cake
chickens.
is a celebrity in Little Rock at the Home Depot. When you're picking up
Yes.
supplies, they request that Baby Cake come with you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I saw on social media one day that the little baby aprons that they have at Home Depot will fit chickens. So we went there one day to see. And a couple of the people that worked there was like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And so Baby Cake, and she's a lot like her mama. She didn't take no for an answer. So we're just walking around the store, and I finally came across a manager that says, "I know exactly what you need." And it was a hit. So we go to the store, and we visit everyone, and she sits there so good and let people pet her. And every time I go in that store now, they ask me about Baby Cake. So
Now,
she's
will
like a
you be
local celebrity.
bringing Baby Cake to Atlanta for our Outside the Barn series?
I'm not sure if I drive, yeah, but I can fly with her. If she's in a little, I don't know, maybe if I travel with her in a doggy kennel or something.
Is
I
she
haven't
considered
traveled
a
with her on a
service pet?
plane. Huh?
Is she considered a service pet?
I consider her one. And then everyone in Home Depot did too. So she's very sweet. She loves cuddles and hugs. We've been on TV together several times and we promote urban agriculture. So
So let's get into the urban agriculture and the work that you're doing with Farm Fortitude. I find it really, really impressive. And you have had a multi story, multifaceted career. I know you have done hair, taxes, and now farming. How long have you been farming?
it's been about farming in one spot about 13 years now. going on 14 years now. I started trying to grow fruits and vegetables over 20 years ago. So I had some, I think some peppers in a pot that I totally killed in the heat of Texas years ago. And I just got serious about it once I came back to Arkansas after closing my salon down. And the fertile soil here was a hit. So we just ran with it. Baby cake.
I know you're deep into the farming community there in Arkansas, and you do a lot of work across the country with Farm Fortitude. And at this point, Farm Fortitude has over 5,000 members, and you have a
Mm-hmm.
pretty substantial following and really making a difference in the space. I'm really excited about your upcoming conference in Dallas in September. Tell us a little bit about that.
Awesome. So, Black Ag was created. It's an organization that promotes agriculture and homesteading to African Americans in the United States because our numbers were so low in agriculture. I started doing carrying out technical assistance and outreach in partnership with USDA a few years ago. And after looking at the statistics, I'm like, wait a minute, I need to build this in the Black community for several reasons. And that's what I started doing. We built a database of more than 500 now. We're nearing 10,000 nationwide. It's a free database to join. We provide a lot of free education and expose them to opportunities, especially funding and ways they can make money. For instance, my backyard, I put a $50,000 a year model together and I farm in about 5,000 square feet here in the city with my chickens, right?
Now,
So
you
we're
you have a
wanting to
high
bring,
tunnel. Do you have a high tunnel?
I don't because I wanted a greenhouse so bad. I sourced some wood and we built a large lean to greenhouse. It's large to me. I think it's 14 by 16 feet and has a 10 foot, maybe 12-foot pitch roof, and I collect rainwater on it. I grow most of my seedlings in there, protecting them, and I love it. But I do have a half-acre farm that I'm establishing right around the corner from me, where I'll get 100 foot high tunnel, and I'm so excited about that. But those are some of the initiatives that I promote with Black Ag by way of Farm Fortitude, in which provides non-conventional funding for small farmers in America, especially Black farmers. We don't discriminate, but we find that a lot of African Americans are having a hard time sourcing funding to start a farm or to expand their farm. So Farm Fortitude steps in and provides gap funding. Should you have some USDA contracts like the Environmental Quality Incentive Program, EQIP program, that's the program I'm getting that huge high tunnel with. And if
I
I
love the
need,
education that you provide to people and the awareness that you
mhm,
bring. You are extremely well versed in multifaceted, especially in the urban agriculture space, and how important that is to food sovereignty, and how
yes,
you're
sir.
able to help folks source fresh farm to table food in the community where there are food deserts.
Yeah, so thank you for even reminding me of that. I started with my own story in a food desert. And so I was coming back home from this big metroplex in Dallas, and I didn't realize I was in a food desert because I wasn't in a food desert in Dallas. And so my house became food insecure. And so I had to come up with a way to make my home more food secure. And I wanted organic fruits and vegetables, and I started growing. I went to a grocery store and I had to decide that day between gas in my car to take my son to school or a pack of hot dogs. And I didn't want to, I mean, the hot dogs are unhealthy, processed meat. And I'm looking at all these beautiful fruits and vegetables thinking, this should be free to me. I shouldn't have to figure out how to purchase these beautiful foods that are, the colors are calling out to me and they're good for me. And so I started just thinking, visualizing there's a seed in that. There's roots on the bottom of that lettuce. And that's how I sourced a lot of my first fruits and vegetables from the grocery store. and then buy seeds because I didn't have a lot of money to get started. And my story has resonated with so many people because I'm a first generation urban farmer. I didn't inherit land, and most of us will not. Most of all the people in the United States who want to get started will not inherit land, and they need to start growing at home. And so that's what I did,
But
and
I
I
think
started
that's really
incorporating.
important
Uh,
to cat.
yes.
It's like throw down your cast your stones where you are. So where
Oh yeah.
regardless of the plot, you can increase the food security not only for yourself but for your community. And I know you help educate several folks. And at the conference, people just cling to your magnetic personality. And we've been together at a few conferences, and the information that you provide is always amazing. I know in our conversations about regenerative farming and how to protect the environment, and then the
Hmm.
conservation practices are extremely impressive. And your knowledge of farming and being self taught has been amazing. And I've seen several people using your programming across the space. So you are somewhat of a unsung hero in the space, and I'm hoping that you get the recognition and support that is much well deserved.
Wow. Wow. I mean, thank you for all. If I could, this is being recorded, right? I need that.
It's
I
a
need that
podcast.
transcribed. And yeah, I need to put on a t-shirt. That was just thank you for those flowers you gave me. I appreciate that. And it's true. I'll go to conferences and people will come up to me and like, hey, Kesha Cobb, I attended your workshop. You're the reason why I got a farm number, or I have a high tonal now, or my husband got a contract from USDA. And even if they didn't get a contract from USDA, they learned how to make money in their on their land or feed themselves. So and guess what? We'll be going over, I'll be providing all of my resources, all of my mental resources and information and knowledge at the Black Ag Summit this summer in September on the 19th.
Well, we're very happy and excited to have you as a part of our Outside the Barn series as we tour the country and talk about urban agriculture and the opportunities to farm where you are to increase food security and food sovereignty. You are a very integral part of the Outside the Barn series, and one of the legs that we stand upon in order to um, promote intergenerational, mixed use, faith based development. And so we are doing that model, urban and rural, and really excited to be putting on the Outside the Barn with Providence Missionary Baptist Church this weekend, and excited to see you and hopefully Baby Cake if she can make it. If not, we understand, but we are very thankful for her being here today. So tell us a little bit more about how to get a farm number.
Okay. So a farm number, first of all, I'll say my farm number is still very new. I got it about 3.5 years ago. And which is crazy because as much as I was doing in agriculture, I didn't know about it. So that's why I started telling people about it.
Why is it
It's a
important?
farm. Well, it registers you. It tells the government that you intend to grow and be a producer or a conservationist on your land, even at your house. So it's free, and it's a four-digit number that you register with the USDA. You fill out this free application, is about 10 questions. And that's what I provide a lot of technical assistance for because people can get confused on the farm number application. What should be said on it? Should I put it in a business's name or my personal name? And understand that any payments that come from USDA that are farm related have to have a farm number to be processed. So connected to that farm number is adjusted gross income information for yourself or your business, also a wetland certification if there are any easements and stuff on the property, as well as direct deposit information. So it's like you're set up and all this is free. You're set up to receive payments and or to participate in conservation services or farming services and things like that. So a lot of times I'll have these free Zoom calls where I just tell we'll register like 100 people a pop for a farm number nationwide. And then they're on their way to getting things like a high tunnel or irrigation for their farm, their house, different conservation practices that USDA will help you pay for. So
So
that's
I've
what a
heard
farm
you
number
speak
is.
on numerous occasions about the difference between a farm, an urban farm, and a garden. Can you speak
Hmm.
to the difference between urban farming and urban gardening?
So I think I'm a little different because I started off gardening. I said I was a gardener. And then one day I said I was a farmer. I think it's a mindset. So even with USDA, they used to qualify your farm by how much you may have made that year, by how big it was or small it was, and they stopped. And I think that was a good thing. So I tell everybody, if you are growing food, you're a producer. A producer is a farmer. If you can grow food, one, there is no minimum square footage to get a farm number. So that tells you a lot right there. If you can produce herbs and sell them and
So
eat
do you have to
them.
produce food to be a farmer as opposed to just having a really nice garden full of flowers?
No, you can have a really nice garden full of flowers and be a farmer. It's called cut flowers. And that's a conservation practice, by the way.
See, there you go with all that knowledge again. So it really makes a difference. And I know at one of our sessions, we were able to pass out seeds when we did our session at the Clayton County Library. What particular vegetables do you farm? And after you talk about that, I would love for you to go into your health journey and how you improve your A1C through improving your fresh farm to table and changing your menu and your food, rather.
Yeah. So, it's so great that you guys handed out seeds because some of the barriers that will keep farmers from getting started is sourcing seeds, seedlings, soil, wood to build garden beds with. And so, kudos for you guys doing that because that will get some people inspired and get them started. Believe it or not, in my backyard, in about 5,000 square feet, I grow more than 100 different types of fruits and vegetables and berries. So something told me to count them one day. And I was like, oh my God, I think it's more than 100 different types of fruits and vegetables. And I do grow year round. And so, another important thing with urban agriculture, and you would know this because of like appraisal values and stuff. Well, one, I'm growing corn in the front yard, my garden bed against the house right now, but you can barely tell it's corn. It's a shorter variety, and it looks like I've just landscaped some grass, like some lemongrass, right? But when you pull up to my front yard, you can't tell I'm farming in the backyard at all. So just a couple of things. One, I count my mulberry tree. That's one thing. Like I can utilize the leaves, I can utilize the berries. I can propagate from the sticks that fall, right? Elderberry. I grow loofah on my fence. I grow grapes on the fence. So I utilize the structures I already had. And I still have a lot of play area back there where I can just lounge and entertain, right?
Can you speak
So what
towards
I
the
did was,
conservation services?
yeah, so you know what? When you're conserving, you think about things like the soil, the water, the air quality, right? Keeping it good, keeping not disturbing those ecosystems. I don't till. I don't till in my garden beds. First of all, when I started off, I didn't have a tiller. I barely had a shovel. So if I'm going to establish a garden bed, I just lay some cardboard over the grass and put soil on top of it. Build a garden bed around it. Bam, there you go. So it's
Do
about
you?
knowledge a lot of times too.
And I learned so much from you in our conversations. One of the things that I've learned or talked about in urban agriculture, what I find to be important sometimes in protecting or being concerned about the soil being contaminated is utilizing raised beds. and so you don't have to worry about what's been in the ground because you're doing the raised beds. But also
Mm-hmm.
in the urban agriculture and visiting Providence Garden, I was really impressed because around their raised beds they have 1x6s, and the 1x6s serve as a bench. So for older people like myself, can't always get those knees and hips don't let you get down quite as well. You can sit up on the on the bench and work your way back to the garden bed more comfortably. And it serves as a place of communal living. And that's why I'm so excited about the intergenerational development stuff that we're working on, and the connectivity in the community, and as well as being able to source food.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's why I just raised the inches on my garden bed. So I started with 2x6s. Now I have 2x10, so it's deeper. That's
Mm-hmm.
almost a foot off the ground. And I haven't completely filled it up to the top, but if you think I don't have to bend over as much, I built a giant garden bed that I could just walk in,
But they've got the two
right?
by sixes also going across the top, so you can sit on them like a bench seat all the way around the
Oh,
garden.
wow.
Now, and it's a little bit more expensive from a wood standpoint, but it makes it easier, and people are able to
Mhm.
pace themselves, especially if they're older or have some level of infirmities. It makes the gardening accessible, and then
Mhm.
also one of the things that you and I have talked about is getting young folks introduced into the farming, and how being outside in the dirt calms them down and gives them some connectivity, and helps folks with all kind of other ailments and attention type of things. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so that circles back to the health and wellness part. Kind of segue into my journey. And I've noticed the difference when I bring youth to my farm and they realize, wow, an apple comes off of a tree, or this is where a blueberry comes from. And so it kind of, I don't know, I think nature humbles you. It can't help but humble you, right? A waterfall is larger than we are. So when it comes to those communal ailments, I call them, right? Sometimes behavioral, and sometimes they're physical. It'll affect you health wise, like me being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes a couple years ago. I was floored because I mean, I'm a farmer. I pick up bags of soil. I walk every day. I work out. But what I was consuming wasn't good for me, especially what I was drinking. I love sugary drinks, loved them. And that's literally putting refined sugar in my body, right? And so, after doing research and committing to beating the disease, and which that's not the only disease I'm committed to beating, depression and other diseases that can be affected by nature, I try to see how this farm can help other people. And so, when I came up to some fruits and vegetables, or vegetables specifically, that I can eat to beat type 2 diabetes, cruciferous vegetables kept coming up. And it's just leafy, dark leafy green vegetables. And I'm like, oh my God, I grow this stuff in the backyard. And so I purposely incorporated it into every single meal every day and subtracted carbs and sugar. And my A1C went down more and more. I started at 13. That was crazy. 13%. That's
Where
crazy.
are you today?
Today, now I would say for 2 years, I naturally took my blood sugar down to 7, my A1C, right? That's the amount of sugar in your blood over the course of about 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stayed there for 2 years. And this is very important. Went through a stressful time in my life with a relationship ending. A1C went up to 9. So I'm working to bring it back down because it's very important. Look, I'm never in a position where I'll say I won't take medicine. Oh, I will if I have to. So to manage my, and I'm gonna tell you, it was because of stress. Stress will affect you even when you're eating right. It'll make your blood sugar go up because you're in fight or flight mode. So I'm on my way back down, and by my birthday in September, My goal is to be at 5, the A1C of 5.
It's funny that you talk about being in fight or flight, and that seems what we are always under duress. And I really believe that the communal garden, rural development is an opportunity for us to improve the quality of life. Again, we talk about it'll take 500 years to close the wealth gap and $200 billion to close the poverty gap. And I believe we can definitely close the poverty gap and increase food sovereignty. But it's hard to be worried about closing the wealth gap when you're constantly under duress. And I think that the gardening and the farming helps to improve the quality of life. Um, you just feel better when your hands are down in the soil. Now I
Mhm.
got to have on
Mhm.
gloves to put my hands down in there, but even with the
Mhm.
gloves on, it feels a lot better. And I'm very. They're always laughing at me about the gloves, but that's just me and
Mhm.
in my version of farming. But I'm very
Risk
thankful.
management.
Risk management. There you go. That's it. That's it right there. And so the work that you do and the people that show up when you're speaking is always amazing. And how does that make you feel? I know you do your Zoom calls and folks just gravitate to you. Can you give out the information? I know you being one of our partners, we're reviving our website, so we'll definitely have a link up there on how folks can get to you and and oh shoot, Farm Fortitude. But the work that you're doing with Farm Fortitude across the country is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and so one, the way those Zoom calls make me feel, they empower me. Even when I have my personal struggles, like I'm not reaching as many people as I want, I need to expand or I need to do better. I will attend a conference, and at least 5 people that I've never met in person will come up to me and say, "Kesha Cobb, Black Women in Ag," and your call was so amazing, and that empowers me. That makes me feel great, and I call them my fruit. And I love that it's like a tree with fruit, but they go out and then they bring more people in to get a farm number to grow food, and sometimes they'll even start their own like educational programs, and which is fine because we have to reach as many people as possible. And this goes to the communal agriculture model you're talking about. There's a channel on YouTube. It's a very wise man. I can't remember his name, but he talked about wealth. And he had this huge line of people just lined up around his farm, and they're hanging on his every word. And he said a couple of things that make you wealthy. Because one, I'm gonna say we need to change our mindset. A couple of things that really make you wealthy are your relationships and your knowledge. Okay, that means, can you build something? Can you build a garden bed? Can you build a chicken coop? Can you harvest that wood? And this is me challenging people. Then, do you know how to source soil? Do you know the difference between soil and dirt? Do you know how to build compost? Do you know how to grow the food? Do you know how to cook it? Do you know how to eat it? Do you know how to regenerate it? You know how to store the seeds? If you can do that, if you can build a chicken coop, you can build a house. If you know the difference between soil and dirt, you can maintain the land that you're on. And if you're rich in relationships, you can do this with an entire community, an entire city, state, nation, and world. So I just added the little extra on the end.
Well, no, you are definitely right. The world, because we have also talked about farming initiatives in Africa that we have been connected to and having conversations with, and hopefully we'll be able to make some of those connections and some of those things into a reality. So it's just small steps in the progress and the progress that you have been able to make and the number of people that you have been able to impact, especially there in your community in Arkansas, has been amazing. And those states there in the Black Belt that struggle with poverty and violence, farming is a way to get people off the street. It's a way to get people engaged in food and sourcing as well as improving their health. So I think
Mhm.
Arkansas is one of the top places in the nation for violence, poverty, a lot of things that
Mhm.
are not positive. Arkansas is leading, but there's also
Yeah.
lots of opportunity, lots of opportunity and wealth to be developed and tapped into, and sourcing and empowering the community. So I think you are doing a great job of that and letting just giving people hope and the possibility. So I think it's divine, the faith based uh, initiatives that we are embarking on in order to do this. People need hope, and there's a lot going on right now, and you embody that power and give folks the opportunity to just to have seen you at several conferences and the level of impact across the different demographics, especially at the South Conference. I mean, you had
Mhm.
folks from all over. Of course, you were there campaigning as well, taking pictures and posting with everybody. But there's definitely an energy that you bring to these conferences and to these spaces. And so I'm just happy that we're able to partner and do some things
Mhm.
moving forward.
Yeah, and then to speak about Arkansas, I'm telling you, I moved here from Dallas, and for a very long time, I'm like, why am I here again? And when I moved back here in 2013, we were the most no, we were the fattest state in America. And then the
I thought that
city
was
I lived
Mississippi.
in 2013, we were the fattest state in America.
Did
And
Mississippi
then
catch y'all?
that's so, and I'm going to get to that. When our numbers change, it's not because we lost weight or because we made more money or because we got less violent. Know that, okay? But the city that I live in, y'all, we were fatter than the average. I think we were 32% fat, 32% obese, the state in 2013. North Little Rock was 36%. I'm like, what are we eating? What are we
Oh,
doing?
that's the result
Guess
of the
what?
food deserts.
And the crime. Lifestyle is different. I will honestly say, I think if I had stayed in Dallas, I would not have developed type 2 diabetes. The walkability score, that's a thing. I'm sure you know about that. Like, if it's safe to walk in a neighborhood, we had sidewalks. We could ride our bikes. It was a lifestyle. People get up in the morning, walk their dogs for miles. You can go to a nice park really close. Not so here. Crime was a little higher. So now, I'll say last year, we were the most violent state in America according to the FBI, and we were number 7 in property theft. So, and we're the most food insecure state, even right now. So it's two years in a row. So I say we're hangry. Okay, we're hangry in Arkansas. And yes, this year we are number 4, the fourth most violent state, but we're still the most food insecure state, and we're way at the top as far as child hunger. It's sad.
And these are the things as I travel the country that are just eye opening, amazing,
Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking, and to work with people like yourself for solutions, to work with people like Jeffrey Hicks. I'm hoping that we can have an impact, and all these things that you talk about directly impact value and valuation, which is where I'm always seeing it and how things play out, and how to
Mm-hmm.
turn things over, um,
Mm-hmm.
with the different rates, rental rates. And again, neighborhoods are based on valuations and amenities, and there's enough land and opportunities for us to cultivate and provide farms in areas where we live to reduce the hangry, which hopefully will reduce the violence, increase our mortality rate. But it takes education, committed people like you with boots on the ground, getting things done, And I really think, I mean, I know I keep harping accolades on you, but I've been so impressed with the work that you've done and continue to do. And I see the impact and influence of on people, as well as
Mm-hmm.
farmers at the conference, people that are farming for a living. When you talk to them about regenerative practices and the different programs and conservation practices and how they're able to improve those, and a lot of times the community is very distrustful, especially the farming
Mm-hmm.
community, and rightfully so. So the opportunities to get the farm numbers and the different
Mm-hmm.
programs that are available, that education that you do with the USDA is amazing and worth every penny. I wish they would give you more funding to be able to accomplish more in the space, the risk management practices, and everything else. And I think that people really need to hear you. So I'm really happy that you decided to come on this podcast.
Awesome. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to talk about how what's going on in Washington is affecting farmers and funding. One, I started this technical assistance and outreach without any funding. And the one time I did get funding was for just for the state of Arkansas. So the national outreach I carried out was not from any funding with USDA. It was because I wanted to empower farmers. Okay. So we have events such as the Black Ag Summit that will help to fund the organization so that we can carry out more technical assistance. But I want all the farmers and people who even want to start farming to know that there is money that is already allocated from the 2018 Farm Bill, the last Farm Bill, and any amendments. That's already allocated by Congress and earmarked. Apply for these programs. Don't keep from applying for it because you feel like, well, they're not funding farmers anymore. Listen, equip. There are NRCS programmatic funding funds that are available right now. Apply.
Are those funds frozen or available? A lot of
Nope,
folks think.
they're available. And the new chief of NRCS, she is literally like releasing, like, these funds are released and approved. They're accepting applications now and ranking applications for environmental quality incentive program equip. You apply by, actually you can Google CSP 1200 is the number of the application. Complete it. You have to have a farm number first. You get that through Farm Service Agency. I send all of these applications via email. I have taught people over a year do that because it timestamps and it proves what you send to USDA. Don't just call, don't go in there. You can't prove that, right? You can't prove
How
the
do people get
email.
in touch with you, Kesha?
With me, they can go to blackag.us, contact us. That'll come straight to me. Even if it goes to another team member, it always comes straight to me. Blackag.us. Join the database. Because if you're on the database, that's how you get our Zoom call announcements. And we have so much fun on the Zoom calls. But if they want to call me directly, 501-755-0023. And I didn't give my number out before, and I managed the political campaign. I had a marketing company too. I managed a political campaign for a candidate in 2020, and he gave his number out to everybody. And I was like, "Why do you do that?" Right? And he said, "Well, I answer it if I can. If I don't, I just take a voicemail. I get back to people when I can." So I tried it, and it works. So
Okay.
501-755-0023. Although I prefer email, because like I said, you can prove that. You can prove when you reach out to me. Email is BLK, no A, BLK women in ag at gmail.com. You can email me. Please remember, I do not work for USDA. I am not the agency. And just like the agency, any technical assistance I provide to you is voluntary. Okay. So, I mean, please be mindful and don't try to bully me into completing your application for you or get mad at me because you were not approved. There are so many grants and applications I've applied for and just were not approved, but I keep going. And you got to keep going. Apply
I
for this
really,
funding. That is, you need to be applying for a farm number.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I really
Baby
don't
cake.
understand how you could say people don't bully you. I don't think anybody is bullying you. I have
Don't
seen you in
try.
action, and that is not really possible. They might try
I'm
once,
from
but
Arkansas. I'm
I,
still from Arkansas. I'm a smart girl. I'm still from Arkansas. We don't do bullies. Baby cake. I'm trying to get her back
well,
in here so she can
yeah, yeah.
make
Get
another
baby cake
cameo.
in here so we can close this thing out. We
Baby
can't close
cake.
out without baby cake. I think this
I
has been
know.
really informative, and I'm looking forward to this being the first of many podcasts. I'm looking forward to your conference
Let me get her.
in
Uh
September.
huh.
Um, hopefully we can definitely get you here this weekend for our Outside the Barn series, and then there'll be other opportunities for us to meet in
Yeah.
at other conferences that we have been working on and talking about. I know we missed each other in Nashville
Mm-hmm.
at the risk management conference. I was coming, you were
Yeah.
going, but we will definitely catch up this weekend, and we are excited to participate in your conference in Dallas this September. So I'm really excited about that, as well as the other church partners in Dallas that you have that we'll be meeting. So you
Mm-hmm.
promised to make the introduction to one of my most favorite pastors, Freddie Haynes. So I'm looking forward to seeing Freddie Haynes in Dallas. I'm excited
And then,
about
you
that.
know what? We're going to church as a collective that Sunday on the 21st. So after the conference, the 19th and the 20th is conference, 21st that morning. All that want to attend will be attending Friendship West Baptist Church, my favorite church, and I'm so excited. And so,
Is
if
that Freddie
nothing
Haynes'
else, he'll
church?
be there. Yes.
It, okay, I got introduced to him several years ago in Indianapolis at Eastern Star with Jeffrey Johnson. So those are two of
Mm-hmm.
my my favorite pastors. I mean, I like several of them, but they have always been outstanding to me. I haven't been back to Indianapolis in
Yes.
several years, and I've been in Atlanta for the past 18 years. And I believe I was able to see Freddie Haynes here in Atlanta a few years back. So I know you have a relationship with the church, and I can't wait to get there.
Yeah, I
Me,
attend when I go to Dallas. I absolutely love it. I mean, the word, the praise and worship, the awareness. That kind, I've heard people say he's a woke preacher, but he's an aware preacher. It ain't about woke, and it's just you're empowered spiritually and then practically in a practical way when you attend church there. And I know his wife, Deborah Haynes, she's amazing. She's very involved in that garden on site. I helped them get a farm number and apply for some conservation services, and they're very conscious, conservation minded, and I love that. So yeah.
that's really important to the community, and we will definitely connect with you. I don't know when we will be back in Arkansas. I know we were there last year at Arkansas Pine Bluff, one of our 1890 um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, schools, and
UAPB.
and UAPB, and of course my one of my heroes is the barber of Little Rock, and so I had to make you get out and introduce me to Arlo. He is
Mm-hmm.
one of my heroes. We've traded emails. Hopefully, I can get him on a podcast here. When I was there, we visited um, his institution, and he wasn't there. We didn't get a chance to connect, but he's another
Mm-hmm.
person that I hold in very high esteem. So, with that
Yep.
being said, I'm going to close out the podcast. I know you and Baby Cake got work to do, and I really
Yes,
thank
she
you
has to go see her
for.
chickens.
I, I thank you
Baby Cake has
for.
her own chickens, by the way.
Oh, okay. So she got her own crew too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So
Say hi, baby cake.
thank you, Miss Baby Cake, for coming on to the podcast. And we can go ahead and close this up. Thanks again. We look forward to it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to the 10K podcast. Thank you all.